Top tip, mate. Start recording.
You're a pro.
I'm a pro. So I just did the whole intro and I didn't record any of it. So let's try again. Good afternoon from Cambridge. I'm here today with Matt Hall, who is over there. A really wicked photographer that I've known for a few years now, based out of Margate. You probably would have seen him in some of my stories whenever I go to Margate. And I really wanted to do this interview with him because, like with everyone on this channel, his photography is quite unique compared to everyone else. And because he used to live around Cambridge, I figured this will be a perfect place to film this video. Plus, I've never made a video in Cambridge before. And that's it. So no more waffling from me. I'll hand it over to Matt now.
My name is Matt Hall. I'm a photographer originally from here in Cambridge. I now live in Margate, down on the south coast. Concentrate mostly on street photography. I shoot in colour. I try and isolate my subjects as best as possible. So there's a lot of like single figures, a lot of silhouettes. I'd rather have the mystery of not knowing who the person is. Also gives you a lot of flexibility. You could have the human element walking towards you or away from you. You can't really tell because it's a silhouette. So it adds a lot of mystery. You don't know who that person is.
Now let's talk about camera gear. Everyone loves to know, what do photographers use? So what camera gear and lenses do you use for most of your photography?
I've always shot Fuji ever since I first picked up a camera. Well, in the second phase of my photographic life, I guess. It's always been Fuji. And I'm really lazy, so I've still got every camera I've bought. An XM1, which was my entry level Fuji camera. I've now donated that to my children to use with a 27mm pancake lens. But mostly I shoot now with my X Pro 3 with the XF35 1.4 or my XT1. And I also use the 56 as well, 1.2. They're my kind of day-to-day carries, I suppose.
Is there a particular reason you use those two focal lengths? Are they your main ones, or is there something else that you use?
No, well, I started off shooting wider, but yeah, I'm not very good at composing wide shots where there's multiple subjects. I like to have it in a little bit more. That's basically the main reason. I'm not very good at it. I mean, some people are amazing. I sort of try my hand at it, but yeah, it's not really for me. So yeah, the 50 and the 85 are good because I can get like close and isolate my subject a lot better.
And I know it's very popular for photographers to chop and change gear, try other systems. Many Fuji people go to Leica or Sony or whatever. Yeah. Is there a particular reason why you didn't do that? You've kind of just stuck with one brand? I
guess there's a couple of reasons. One, I'm unbelievably lazy with that kind of thing, and I'm getting old and set in my ways kind of thing. Another reason is I'm not a technical photographer, so half the things that even this camera does I'd never use. So I just use the simple exposure triangle and just and take photographs, and a lot of the gadgets and gizmos that this thing does probably to make your life easier, I don't even use.
So just now, as we walked past that car, you did a quick double take because you thought you saw something. So there was obviously something that caught your attention, which leads into the next question, and that is every photographer has like certain cues, so things that will catch your eye, pique your interest. What are they for you?
There's not just one thing. There's loads of things I look out for, and it's probably similar to a lot of photographers. So like, yeah, great spot of light is good. Natural frames I look out for. So back there it was a shoot through, so I was basically looking through one window through the bar. For me, like if there's the suggestion of a human element, so like someone was there or someone's going to be there or someone's taken time to arrange some flowers in the window, or if the light's hitting it well enough, that is the subject matter that kind of excites me. And with the silhouettes, yeah, I do like silhouettes, but it's more a case of how I can use the silhouette with other things. Potential.
The funny thing is, to you see a photo, but to the average person, you're literally staring into a dirty...
Well, there's that. It's just whether there's enough contrast on that brown door than there is on the
Have you ever had someone thinking you're absolutely crazy, just like staring into that?
Everyone, yeah. Why not?
So at the moment, you're living in Margate. You've been living in Margate for quite a while. So for those who don't know, Margate's a very small seaside town. You don't really have many options there. You can kind of cover it in 30 minutes or so if you really want. And a lot of people will be in similar position to you. Many people might not live in London or New York or Tokyo. And one of the questions I get all the time is, how do you shoot in small places, or how do you shoot in quote-unquote boring places, right? Yeah. And I never feel like I'm experienced enough to answer that. Whereas I think because you've been living in Margate, you've got a bit more kind of experience around that. So how would you help someone who is struggling to shoot in their small town or a boring location?
Look harder, basically. I learned that simply by shooting Cambridge for 7 solid years, nowhere else, didn't go to London, didn't go anywhere. So I was shooting the same streets over and over and over again, and that just became very, very boring, and wasn't a challenge at all. So I ended up just looking at each location within the city I lived at in more detail. So I was condensing everything to small spots. So instead of like a big scene, it would just be one window, or like, yeah, my phone box photographs, for example. It's like, okay, I'm just going to concentrate on that, and then it's just, you just end up looking closer. And once you've taught your eye how to do that, you can apply that anywhere. So it doesn't matter whether you're in a sleepy village in the arse end of nowhere, or you are in Japan somewhere, you know, you can, or a massive city, you can still apply the same techniques.
I guess going back to your point about shooting smaller places, you learn how everything kind of works, where the shadows are, where the light is, what time to come back. Yeah. So you can just work the same areas over and over.
Yeah, and that kind of knowledge is like really, really useful, especially if you've only got a few hours to go shooting. So if we turn just down here, which is a bit grimy.
Yeah, it's a lovely smell. Which cameras can show you how this smells?
So that photograph there,
that's lovely, that, isn't it?
Was taken on that wall, but they've changed the colour.
Yeah.
So that, you can see the wall there where the shadow's starting to run up.
Because I think that bit of colour really does pop and kind of makes that image.
It does. But you have got that number 7, so as a monochrome, even though I don't shoot black and white, it will look monochrome, and it will look black and white.
Why do you not shoot black and white?
It's something I did when I first started out, because I thought it's just an easy way of making it look like quite arty, and it can hide quite a lot of flaws as well. As like the interest is in the fact that it's black and white. But it was when I started like looking further into street photography and like discovered a lot of the colour photographers. I just thought, why am I shooting black and white? There's just so much more interest in the real world. Yeah, it's like, this is how we see things. This is how we'll do it. So yeah, I always shoot in colour, although some of them, because I'm dealing with shadows and light, some of them might look like they're black and white, but they are just a monochrome colour.
Shall we just move away from this?
No, let's get closer. It does actually stink.
If you were to give just one piece of advice to a beginner, because it's easy to give 5 pieces, but if you had to condense it just to one piece of advice, what would it be? Just
do what makes you feel happy. Don't feel pressure from anyone, don't feel pressure that you have to be out shooting every day. Obviously carry a camera around with you all the time, and if you can shoot every day, brilliant, but don't feel like you have to. It's these days with social media, it's quite easy to feel pressurized, and all of a sudden what should be a pursuit that is good for your mental health just becomes a drain and like a millstone around your neck, and it's like, yeah, don't ever let it get like that. I think if it gets like that, there's no fun. So, and I've seen a lot of photographers actually sort of jack it in.
What about if you were to give a piece of advice to someone who maybe has been shooting for a while, a bit more experienced, and they just want to take the photos to the next level when looking at your work?
It depends on how their photographs look, really. So I always like to level up my photographs by adding extra elements. So yeah, if I can get a silhouette shot, okay, that's fine. Silhouette shot is a bit boring. If I can get a reflection of that silhouette shot, it's a bit more interest. If I can add something in the foreground, then it's better. If you can get a reflection of a reflection and something in the foreground, it's a silhouette. You know what I mean? It's like there's always a way to improve.
Was there a particular moment that you remember when photography kind of made sense?
For me, it was I'd probably been shooting for about a year, so not very long in the whole scheme of things. But I was shooting automatic, and just going out and just taking very, very average photos. But yeah, it was one day I just decided, well, I'm going to turn everything off automatic and I'm going to try and shoot manually for the first time. And I feel that, and I remember just getting home and I might have had one photograph I was happy with, really happy with. And looking back, even it was probably crap anyway. But the fact that I'd taken it myself, that was just, yeah, it was a complete game changer. And from then on, I've always been like that, and it just opens up so many creative possibilities when you're sort of, yeah, you're sorting out the aperture yourself, and you're making everything as dark as you want it to be, and you're getting everything how you want it to be, near as damn it in camera. To go back and then try and be creative through an editing suite. I'd rather be creative on the street with the camera, spend time that way. So that was probably how, for me, it first made proper sense. I was like, right, I'm in control.
All right, and to wrap up the interview, the last question I ask everyone is, where do you see photography going in the next, let's say, 10 years? I
think, well, with the advent of AI and the way that's kind of putting pressure on commercial photographers and, well, just photographers in general, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a bit of a war. I think that it's going to, yeah, I think the true photographers are going to just carry on doing what they're doing, but you're going to have all these, these artificial created photographs pushing another direction. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think the important thing is that we just carry on doing what we're doing and stay true to what we're doing, and delineate the differences between the two. So yeah, if you are making AI photographs, make sure everyone knows that and don't try and pass it off as an authentic image. I don't. Being someone who doesn't really get into the whole technology side of photography, I can't really say, because I'm the most basic of photographers, so I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing.
You'll still be using the XT1?
100%. Until it dies. And then this one will probably get my X Pro 3 will probably get as battered as the XT1.
All right, well, Matt Hall, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And for anyone who's still watching, thank you. It's probably going to be quite a long interview. Now, what I would say is Matt Hall runs his own workshops, both in London and here in Cambridge. And if you want to know more about his process and basically whatever he said in this interview, but times by 100 in terms of what you'll get out of it, I will link your workshop below in the description. Thank you. Go and check it out, and then pester this man and book all his time slots up so that doesn't have any free time.
Yeah, get in touch.
Cool. All right.
Nice one.
Let's get a drink.
Nice one.
If you're finding this video useful and wish to support the channel, then one of the best ways to do so is to check out my photography zines. I publish a zine following each major trip or destination, where I share not only the photos that you might have seen, but also a ton of photos that I didn't share on social media. The zine is the lowest cost way one can support the channel and also see many photos that have never been shared. For more information, see the links in the description, and thank you for your support.